To the right of the Effect Select Bypass button is our Sample button. This is the button that allows us to put sounds into our machine. More on this in the next section. Under the Sample button, we have our sequencer transport controls, which are play, record, and stop. These three buttons control the multi-track sequencer. In our next section, we're going to take our operating system diskette and do a cold boot. This way we disable any scuzzy hard drives and flashbang memories so that everybody's starting from the same spot. So without much further ado, here we go. Due to the many different configurations of EPSs out there, especially the used ones, we're going to need a method of getting everyone plain vanilla. So if you have a scuzzy hard drive or you have flashbang memory, we're not going to be using those. We're going to cold boot our machines with the Ensoniq operating system. To do this is very simple. We're going to take our Ensoniq operating system, put in our floppy drive, and we're going to turn the machine on. It won't matter if we have scuzzy devices hooked up, flashbang memory, or anything else. The machine will come up in a stripped down form. Do not touch the keyboard at this time, as it is calibrating the keyboard. If your EPS does not boot up and the display reads keyboard failed, retry, press enter yes to allow it to calibrate itself again. If after repeated tries your keyboard does not come on, this would indicate a hardware problem and you should send it to an authorized repair shop. If you were to press cancel no, this will disable the keyboard completely, but the EPS 16 Plus will still respond to all button presses and incoming MIDI information from another instrument. Okay, let's get busy and let's learn how to sample. Okay, before we begin sampling, we will need an audio source to connect to our EPS. This can be a turntable, could be a microphone, could be a synthesizer, could be anything. Connect that to the back of your unit now. Press the sample button to the right of the display. The EPS will then access the operating system on the diskette that you booted with. If this disk is not in the drive, the display will read load OS disk, hit enter. Put the OS disk into the drive and press enter. The display will then ask you to pick sample instrument. You may select any of the blank instrument tracks that do not have an LED. In level detect mode, the display acts like a VU meter. There will be light bars spanning from left to right, showing you the level of the sound coming into your EPS. The star represents the sampling threshold. The EPS will not begin recording until the signal crosses this level. The sampling threshold provides a way to make the EPS 16 Plus wait until the signal reaches a certain level before it begins to record. This level can be adjusted by pressing the up and down arrow buttons located in the data entry section. Before you proceed, there are a number of sampling parameters that you can adjust. These parameters are accessed by pressing the left and right arrow buttons while in level detect mode. These parameters are, number 1, the sample rate, or the number of times that the EPS samples a sound into its memory. Number 2, the filter cutoff. This cutoff frequency is of the anti-alias input filter. This filter gets rid of anything above the cutoff frequency. So when you change your sample rate, the EPS automatically resets the filter cutoff to its optimum level. Third, we have our pre-trigger. This parameter causes the EPS to start sampling before it reaches its threshold level. So you may have extra time at the top of your sample that may have to be removed if you set this too high.